Hi, I'm John. After visiting China, I've got a ton of useful tips for anyone planning to explore this fascinating country. The first thing I'll cover is transportation. Trust me, China has an incredible transportation network. China is massive, so flying between cities is often the best option. I flew from Shanghai to Beijing and Xi'an, and I was surprised at how affordable and convenient the domestic flights were. Tickets cost between 100 to 150 US dollars, depending on the time of booking, and I booked them in advance, which saved me a lot. If you want to experience speed and comfort, don't miss China's bullet trains. I took the train from Shanghai to Beijing, and it was one of the smoothest train rides I've ever had. It takes about 4.5 hours, and the train goes at speeds of up to 300 kilometers per hour. Tickets cost around 50 to 80 US dollars for economy class, which is much cheaper than flying and much more comfortable than buses. Getting around the city is a breeze with Didi, China's equivalent of Uber. I used it multiple times in cities like Shanghai and Beijing. A short ride within the city usually costs between 3 to 6 US dollars, and it's a great option if you're not comfortable with taxis or public transport. The subway systems in cities like Shanghai and Beijing are modern and easy to use. A subway ride costs between 0.5 to 2 US dollars, depending on the distance, and buses are even cheaper, at about 0.5 US dollars. Now, let's talk about the delicious food. China is famous for its diverse and flavorful cuisine, and if you love food, you're in for a treat. Xiaolongbao, soup dumplings. One of my favorite dishes in Shanghai was the xiaolongbao, delicate dumplings filled with juicy pork and soup. A serving costs around 5 to 10 US dollars, and is enough for lunch. Peking duck, vit ki bak kin. In Beijing, I had to try Peking duck. The crispy skin and tender meat were amazing. A whole duck costs about 20 to 30 US dollars, enough to feed 2 people. Sichuan hot pot. In Chengdu, I tried Sichuan hot pot. It's spicy, bold, and unforgettable. A hot pot meal for 2 people usually costs between 20 to 30 US dollars, depending on the restaurant. Street food. I also sampled some amazing street food, like lanzhou lamian, hand-pulled noodles, and rujiamo, Chinese hamburger. These dishes cost as little as 2 to 5 US dollars. I spent around 15 to 30 US dollars per day on food, depending on whether I ate at street vendors or in more upscale restaurants. If you're on a budget, you can easily eat for less than $20 USD per day by sticking to local eateries. Accommodation in China is affordable, and you'll have plenty of choices, from hostels to luxury hotels. I stayed at 3-star hotels in both Shanghai and Beijing. Prices ranged from 40 to 80 US dollars per night, and the rooms were clean and comfortable. If you book early, you can find great deals on platforms like Booking.com or Agoda. If you're looking for a luxury experience, 5-star hotels like Marriott or Shangri-La will cost between 150 to 300 US dollars per night, depending on the season and location. I also used Airbnb in some cities like Xi'an, where I rented a cozy apartment for about 40 to 60 US dollars per night. It's a great option if you're traveling with friends or looking for a more home-like experience. China has an incredible array of attractions, from ancient historical sites to modern urban experiences. Great Wall of China. The Great Wall was a highlight of my trip. I visited the Mutianyu section near Beijing, and the entrance fee was around 8 to 10 US dollars. It was worth every penny to walk along this incredible piece of history. Forbidden City, Tu Kam Than. I also visited the Forbidden City in Beijing, which costs about 6 to 8 US dollars to enter. You can easily spend a few hours exploring this vast imperial palace. Terracotta Army, Bin Ma Dong. In Xi'an, I checked out the Terracotta Warriors. The entrance fee was around 20 US dollars, and it's totally worth it for history lovers. The Bund, Shanghai. One of the best free things to do in Shanghai is to visit the Bund. You can enjoy stunning views of the Pudong skyline, and it's a great spot for photos. China is a shopping paradise, with everything from high-end brands to quirky souvenirs. I spent a lot of time in Nanjing Road, Shanghai, and Wangfujing Street, Beijing. Be ready to bargain at markets and smaller shops. A good rule is to offer half the initial asking price and negotiate from there. My total budget for a 2-week trip in China was around 2,000 to 2,500 US dollars, including food, accommodation, transportation, and activities. Accommodation. around 40 to 80 US dollars per night for 3-star hotels or Airbnb. Food, about 15 to 30 US dollars per day, depending on whether you eat street food or dine at restaurants. Transportation, a bullet train ticket is around 50 to 80 US dollars, and local taxis or DD rides cost between 3 to 6 US dollars. Attractions, entrance fees for popular sites like the Great Wall and Forbidden City are 6 to 10 US dollars each. Book flights and trains in advance to save money. Use DD instead of taxis to cut down on transportation costs. Stick to local restaurants and street food for affordable and authentic meals. If you're traveling solo, consider staying in hostels or Airbnb for budget-friendly options. My trip to China was absolutely unforgettable. From the towering walls of the Great Wall to the flavors of Sichuan hot pot, I got to experience a mix of ancient history and modern culture that I couldn't have found anywhere else. So if you're thinking about traveling to China, don't hesitate. With a bit of planning, you can enjoy this amazing country without breaking the bank. Whether you're exploring Beijing, Shanghai, or Xi'an, there's always something new and exciting to discover.